Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. In this video I want to show you how to migrate a vSphere Windows Server 5.5 to an Appliance 6.5. If you looked at in the past, it wasn't possible. You could go from the 5.5 Windows to the 6 Appliance with the Fling migration, with the Fling tool. So now with 6.5 there's a migration wizard. So a few things first. First, important one, if you already had experience with applying the vSphere 6 appliance, then you probably know that you have to create an extra display port group with an imperial no binding. If you have static or something else, static binding with elastic, and it doesn't work. You can't choose a port group. So create just a new port group by clicking on the network settings and create a distributed group, or go to the distributed group switch, new distributed port group. So once that's done, you will need to download first the VMware vCSA ISO, mount it in your vCenter, and copy the migration folder, or mount it on your desktop and copy the migration assistance folder to your vCenter Windows server. Don't start the setup inside your vCenter server, because it will be shut down in the middle of the step, in the middle of the process. So let's see, I already done that. I already copied that folder to my vCenter server on my C disk. So that's already done. Secondly, I want to show you on the vCenter server, you might get an error that the update manager is not accessible, or not able to connect with. Standard, if you install the update manager on this one or another one, it will run on local system logon. So change that on with the user you can install, with which you can run the migration assistance wizard. So I changed it to the administrator account here. Can be different in your environment, of course, which is pretty much the case if you have more than if you put in some security and not want to use the administrator user. So change that, restart the service, and then you're okay. Then you will be able to run this migration wizard, which will run some pre-checks, and you will have to leave this open for the entire migration. So let's go ahead and let that running. Once all the pre-checks are done, it will find your vCenter with the single sign-on user you're going to use, set the thumbprint and the port. Keep in mind the port can change, 23, 24, default is 23 I think, but we'll see in the migration wizard in the UI. So let's go ahead and start on a separate machine, not your vCenter server, on a separate work machine or a separate server in the management network. Start the migration wizard, so the UI install. Let me just cancel this. I was already testing it. So let's go ahead and go to the folder. So if you open your CD, you have few install folders, UI, the CLI, and the Appliance. I'm going to use the UI and start this installer file. Make sure you have enough memory and CPU and data store available, of course, first. We'll show you in the wizard later what the sizes are. So let's go ahead. You can install in this wizard a new appliance, upgrade an appliance, migrate, and restore. So if you ever need to back up and restore it, this is how you do it. There is no way, separate way in the UI of the vSphere web client. So, but for now, let's go ahead and migrate. So stage 1, we're going to deploy the appliance. Stage 2, migrating source server. So accept the license agreement. Let's go ahead and fill in my FQDN. This port can change. If it's put on the 24, change it to 24. So now it's default 9123. Fill in your SSO username and password. If everything is correct, comment to verify the thumbprint. Yes. I'm going to connect directly to the ESXi hosts because the vCenter server will be shut down. So I like to connect directly to it with the root username and password for it. If it's correct, you get certificate warning. Yes. You can leave the appliance name if you want, but I'm gonna rename it. I'm gonna use the same password for testing purposes. Does not match. I'm typing something wrong. Okay. As you can see, the password needs to be 8 characters long, not more than 20 characters long, uppercase, lowercase, number, and a special character. Click next. And here you have an overview of what sizes are there. So I'm going to use tiny, of course, this is a test environment. But you might want to use in your environment medium, which is 400 host 4000, extra large, 2000 hosts, and 35,000 VMs. Not sure that's the new maximum. Look it up what the vCenter supports, because I don't know if it's right. You can change the data source size. You only see the changing it here. So the largest size is almost 2 terabytes, but memory and the CPU remains. So let's go ahead and choose tiny for now. I'm gonna use a thin provision for now because I don't have much data store available. And as you can see, my port group is there, which is a non-operable distributed version port group, which is not supported. Okay, I'm going to use a static IP address. Let's see, I think this one is still available. Gateway was 2, my DNS server was 11. In this test lab, and now it's ready to complete stage 1. So it will deploy an appliance to the vCenter ESXi hosts directly. Now you can try to use the vCenter server. So let's go ahead. This will take a few minutes depending on how fast your environment is. So let's go ahead and leave that running, and once it's finished I'll come back. While the setup is running, I want to explain some settings. I have 2 data centers put in, a cluster with 2 ESXi hosts, and I put in some resource pools just for practices to see if everything is migrated. Also distribution switch, I think it's a little slow here. Also you see the 2 data centers, and I created some port groups to make it realistic. So ISQZ port group and a production port group, and a 1V switch, a distribution switch. That way we can see if everything will be migrated in the process of this appliance migration. So it's in 79%. Everything looks fine for now. I hope I have enough resources. Okay, so now it's powering on the appliance. Let's see if it's running. Or it should be running. So I have a warning on the host used, but yeah, I'm not much. I don't have enough resources on my laptop. It doesn't seem to be running. The migration says it's installing RPMs now. Probably the web client isn't updated yet. So let me refresh this one and see if I can see if the appliance is running. Okay, I get an error. Yep, it's booted, so forget about the error for now. It's installing the RPMs. Very good. In the meantime, I opened the appliance, and as you can see, it has booted. It's still installing RPMs. So doesn't seem to have an IP address. Or didn't get it. So let me check if I can reach it. Let's see. I think we have a problem that it's not reachable, although it's still running the setup. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. As you can see, the deployment is almost done, but it has still not enabled its network card. But as you can see here, it has its IP address, temporary IP address I gave up. So let's wait until it finishes and see what happens, if the port comes up or not, or if the wizard stops or not. Let's see. Like I was afraid of that. The deployment was successful, but it was unable to connect to the vCenter appliance management interface, so it doesn't respond on this IP address, which I figured because I was in a different port group. Let's see what I can do next. See if I change the vCenter appliance to another port group, and when it comes up, run the setup again, or log into the IP address and continue with stage 2, as it says. So let's see what it's going to do. So let me get back. I'm gonna try and change the port group here. Don't know if I'm gonna have to shut down the appliance. Let's see, change it to port group. A lot of disks. Port group, let's see. Put it in this one, maybe. Let's see what this does. Still a timeout. Not going to work, I think. So nope. That's not going to work. Oh, right, just a second, it changed right now. Okay, I had to change it to a port group, different port group. Now I have a reply of my IP address. So let's see if I have to run the setup again or just try to connect to the appliance like it said. Let's go ahead and connect to the appliance. It was on port 5480. Let's see. Okay, as you can see, you can migrate from a server instance again. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, stage 1 is complete. That looks good. Next on stage 2, let's see what it does. Connect to the source again. Still on the correct port. Let's go ahead and fill in the password. Yes, okay, that looks good. My migration assistant is still running on the vCenter server. On my Windows vCenter server. It's checking some stuff. Let's see what it's been doing here. Something, if I can see something here. What's going on? Okay, it's collecting data, network operation, collecting network configuration. Again, network operation. But it looks like it's doing the migration. Running pre-checks. Let's hope that finishes successfully. Let me see if I can set it next to each other. So let's go and put this window here, a little bit smaller. You can still see this one apart. Yeah, okay. Probably it will take a few minutes depending on your size of your environment. With me it's slow because it's local, and if you have a big environment probably it will take a few minutes also. So it has done its pre-checks. As you can see, successfully copied logs to remote host. So it copied the file, and apparently I have a new error. Pre-migration check results error. We have a warning that's not important. Files that cannot be used with Update Manager 6.5. Okay, that's fine. But this one, source validation found an issue. Unable to complete login process due to delay in operating server connection. Make sure database is configured to meet the vCenter server upgrade requirements. So I've skipped something and probably have to check my pre-requests. So let's go ahead and find out what it is. Okay, the warning is gone from the database, so it disabled the firewall on both the vCenter and the SQL server. So it was just a warning, we don't need to do anything, just close it, and then you can continue. Let's join to the AD domain. So an AD username, I'm going to use this one. Just any format that needs to be done, no. AD password, this one. Let's see if that works. That's the other That's not right. It's timeout. Okay. Validate Active Directory details. Let's see if that works. Yes. So now data migration. Select the data you wish to copy from the source vCenter server from Windows. Configuration only, configuration events and tasks, configuration events, task and performance metric. I'm gonna choose everything. Which you're gonna do in your environment also. Maybe this one alone, maybe not the performance metrics. But hey, it's my home lab, it's a test. No, I don't want to join the CE IP. Okay, the source, target. Confirm that you have a backup. I don't, but it's a test purpose here. Okay, will be shut down. Let's see. This is my old vCenter. What will it do? I'm gonna put it next to it. Let me smaller. Yes. Okay, then you can see what happens if it's powers down or not. So there it goes. It's doing something. Data and configuration export started. Let's hope that finishes correctly. It's compressing some data to send to the original to this destination host, and I think it will be almost time to close the Windows. That it will close the shut down the Windows server. For so far so good, 50%, and then it will set up the target vCenter server and start the services. Import copy data to the target vCenter is step 3, and then we'll be able to test the setup. Okay, so it's finished, and you can see that the original source Windows server is shutting down now. Once it's shut down, I think it will restart. Configure the source, the destination vCenter, and restart everything there. So let it shut down. See what happens. Then I will set up the other screen next to it. Let me get that one. If we connect to this one with the root user, connect anyway. Not now. Here we go. That was nice. If you haven't seen it yet, this is the new 6, the new 12 version. So not much to see here. Well, actually you see that the local host is back, the name, IP address is gone. So it should be getting the new, the old IP address and the old name of the original vCenter. So let's get back to the wizard. So it's setting up all the settings and such. Now that step 2 is finished, it will import your data into the new vCenter appliance. Depending how large your environment is, it will take another few minutes. After a while, with me it was an hour and a half, it finishes. And as you can see, it points to the old vCenter server name, so it should be okay to go to that. But let me check something first. Yes, it has changed, and the IP address has changed also. This looks good. So let's go ahead and try to navigate to the new, but the new virtual server appliance. Okay, we have to wait a couple of minutes. It's initializing. That looks good already. Let's close this one and this one. These can be closed too. Let's wait a minute or two for initializing the web client. Okay, let's see if we can log in with our correct username and password. And here we go, that's logged in into the new appliance. So let's see if everything's still there. Both ESX servers are there. My resource pools are migrated. My data stores are there. And the port group's also there. Okay, it looks fine. That was migration. Some few points after migration, you might want to log in back to the NSX or the vRealize products and reconnect with the vCenter. It should work, keep working, but you need to resync with the new vCenter appliance. But it's still the name, so just leave the filled in information, click resync or synchronize or connect something, and it should work again. Same thing with the third-party tools. Secondly, as you can see, it's the old web client. The HTML5 web client is not enabled by default. I've been reading that you need to enable it. I will post a blog about it, how to do it. But for now, this was the migration. If it was informative, then please leave a comment or like the video. If you have any problems, leave a comment too, and I'll see how I can help. Thank you for watching.